Viewers, getting some breaking updates coming in. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel. He landed a short while back and he's holding a meeting with Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. Those visuals coming in on your screen where leaders are coming together to show solidarity. And this coming in as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has landed in Tel Aviv a short while back. The reason for this is to bring peace to the border. Remember that Blinken will also try to help secure the release of hostages which are kidnapped by Hamas, some of which are Americans, and advanced talks with Israelis and Egyptians on providing a safe passage of Gaza civilians out of the enclave before a possible Israeli ground invasion. Let's go to Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor. Abhishek, this is a very important trip as we are seeing Israel has unleashed a bombing campaign, and the sixth day of a war is today.
Well, this is very public and visible support by the Americans, with Antony Blinken flying down to Tel Aviv and to be seen standing with Israel. Remember, the United States has already sent two of its carrier strike groups, essentially aircraft carriers, to the Mediterranean Sea to ward off any powers who might want to meddle in the affairs and might want to obstruct the war on the side of Palestine, because it seems the Americans realize that if this time they let go of Hamas and if they equivocate and if they say that use of force should be proportionate or that Israel should exercise restraint, it would have consequences for many global terror movements. So I think in that sense, the Americans have doubled down on their support to Israel, and we have seen, for example, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu mentioning in his address yesterday that in the last 4 days he has spoken to U.S. President Joe Biden 4 times, and he had the pressure by President Joe Biden second on the issue yesterday, where he said that he has himself with his own eyes seen the proof of these Hamas terrorists beheading babies. So I think this is very public support to Israel, and hopefully this would continue the kind of global reactions of horror that have been coming because of the kind of dastardly and the scale of terror attack that Hamas could carry out. Obviously, a lot of analysis and dissection would happen why the intelligence and the signals were missed, an admission of which obliquely made by the Prime Minister's office spokesperson yesterday in the briefing, where we were informed that there was some indication coming in from the Egyptians, for example, about this Egyptians gone public, but then there was nothing specific. So, as I said, the dissection for that would go on, but as of now, we are dealing with a situation where the terrorists have to be taught a lesson. The terrorist infrastructure has to be dismantled, and the Americans really backing it up with their military infrastructure, with the aircraft carriers in the Mediterranean Sea. Remember, we had reports of at least 2 aircraft full of munitions coming in, landing in southern Israel to bulk up on Israel Defense Forces war fighting capability, and with all this talk that there is a likelihood of a ground offensive also, even as the Air Force denudes the infrastructure of terror in Hamas in Gaza Strip. We have American Secretary of State Antony Blinken visiting, I think sending across a message to Iran and to any of those supporters of Hamas that they should lay off and not get in between in any manner.
All right. Thank you, Abhishek, for getting us all the details coming in right now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is meeting the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. Those visuals coming in on a screen.